G'day, how are you doing? Hopefully doing very well and keeping healthy and safe. Today, we're going to have a look at this new Acer 49-inch gaming monitor. It is the EI491CUR S curved monitor. Now this supersedes the previous one, which is the EI491CR. So the model number is just only really at the end is the difference you see. Now what has it really improved? It's really the resolution that's been improved. The previous gen, which is the CR version, that one can only go up to a resolution of 3840 by 1080. Now that's a resolution which is a bit of a weird one, especially with a large wide screen monitor like this. The 38 is only a little bit more than what my 34-inch monitor can do, and especially being a 1080 for the vertical horizontal, it's a little bit low. So what they've done with this on Acer has actually improved it. So this new version, the CURS version, this one has a resolution of 5120 by 1440. Now that is a much easier resolution and making much more use of that extra real estate on this 49-inch, and it's a big whopper, as you can see here. So I first want to make a big thank you to Acer for sending this to me for me to have a look at, and I will be creating timestamps along this video so I can skip to different sections that you may be interested to save you time. Being a gaming monitor, it has the capability of its refresh rate of going all the way up to 120 Hertz, and it has a 4 millisecond response time, and also with the brightness luminance, it is at 350 nits, and with the HDR mode, it can peak all the way up to 400 nits.
Testing out the color gamut coverage of a new 49-inch CL491CUR S monitor, it resulted with 99.3% sRGB coverage, 90.9% Adobe RGB coverage, and 85.9% DCI P3 coverage. The monitor did exhibit some ghosting from the UFO ghosting test, and in the skipping frame test, we had very good response, as well as it didn't exhibit any skipping frames at all.
This 49-inch does also come with a remote. Now, this is the first time I've seen a monitor that comes with a remote control. That's interesting. What it really does, all the functions that can be done on this remote is just turning it on and off, change the different source that you have from the different inputs, and the HDR mode on and off, and also with the volume keys as well, and just the different profile schemes of the different colors, and that's pretty much what this remote can do. Still, I like the volume there. It's kind of nice, especially if you're in cinematic mode as well too.
There are two HMI version 2.0 input ports and also two full-size display port version 1.4. Now you do require to use the display port if you're trying to run 120 Hertz refresh rate. The HMI is only capable of 60 Hertz. And also there is also an audio out as well. Also, the 49-inch monitor has an internal power supply, which I absolutely love, because you don't have to worry about these external power supply or power adapters that you could possibly lose in transit. Now, this actually happens a lot more often than you think. One of the drawbacks I like to see in the next revision is this does not have any USB ports. It'll be nice to see a USB hub built into this large 49-inch monitor. That's something that Acer can do in the next revision. This monitor also has 5 mechanical physical buttons to control the menu system, which I absolutely love seeing these physical buttons because I'm not really a fan of the touch buttons. I find this one actually lasts a lot more longer in period of time, and also it's just easier to feel it as well too.
We're going to have a quick look at the adjustments for this monitor. So first off is its total height. So at its lowest point, you're looking at 44 centimeters, and at its highest point, you're looking at 53 centimeters. Now, we also have the ability to tilt up and down, and we have the ability to swivel. You're looking at around about 30 degrees on each side for the swivel, and there is no rotation of up and down.
The EI491CUR S monitor also is VESA compatible. You just need to screw in the supplied extra mounting points, and then you can then screw on your VESA mount onto that. The monitor has 2 3-watt speakers, and when I tested the maximum volume of the speakers, it managed to measure in a peak of 82.3 decibels. I wouldn't consider these loud at all. This monitor is more designed for indoor work and in a bedroom or in an office. So this volume of these speakers are okay, but I wouldn't be like playing really loud music from them. Now, as for the sound quality of the speakers, you're looking at not much bass coming out of the speakers, and the speakers are more geared towards the high ends, so mostly mids and highs. And as for the acoustic wise, it seems to be the backward firing speakers more than anything else. It's still got quite nice clarity. But the more important thing is it's good to see that they've included speakers in this monitor. The monitor does support AMD FreeSync, which is great for gaming, but you do need to remember to switch this feature off to enable picture-by-picture. Now, what picture-by-picture is allows you to have 2 computers input into the single-on 49-inch monitor and having the 49-inch monitor display both of the 2 computers side by side. When the picture-by-picture is displaying both computers, it is an even divided between the 2 computers on the single-on 49-inch display. And there's no options for changing the different sizing of it.
I know this is going to be asked of me, but does this new Acer 49-inch support a MacBook? Now, I've got a 14-inch M1 Max MacBook, so it's quite powerful. And the monitor does support the Mac. It's actually the other way around, where the MacBook isn't able to really capably use the high resolution that this monitor can produce. The 5120 by 1440 isn't a resolution that the silicon can actually keep up with. So you do get this very squished and weird aspect ratio on the MacBook. The monitor is able to do it, but it's not able to take full screen, and it's all stretched up, which doesn't really look nice. So if you're unfortunately on a MacBook with a silicon, you probably don't want to look into a 49-inch monitor, unfortunately. I just want to demonstrate some of the good features I found from using this Acer 49-inch monitor, as well as some improvements that could be made, and also just what I found from just using a 49-inch monitor workflow. It has really improved. Anyway, so let's first off there is the Acer display widget. You need to download this directly from the Acer website. And you've got all these eco modes here, which is kind of same as using the OSD, but we're just going to go through one of the things I found really cool, and that is the Game Assistant. Now, what the Game Assistant allows you to do, you probably saw in my unboxing video, is you can actually put in, I'll just put this called 8-point. And the aim point gives you basically a crosshair. So I'm going to just change a different type of crosshair, and that stays on the monitor display itself, regardless of whatever game it is. Now, the other cool one thing is what I call sniper mode. So what it does is actually zooms in this particular part, just the center part. You can't move it anywhere, but it does allow you to move it into scope time, so you can actually go 4 times you want. So this is great for those who either do first-person shooters or just need to basically snipe out to people. And that's kind of cool to actually see. So that's the sniper as well as the aim point. So I'm just going to remove that. And the other thing is, of course, being such a large monitor, is what we call split screen. Now, you can actually section off different modes for this monitor, and I'm just going to choose one that I actually use quite a bit, which is either the dual screen. So I'm just going to bring up 2 easy things to bring up. So something like this, and we just bring that. It does snap it in pretty nicely over here. I'll just bring this one here. I'll just snap that in here. So it snaps it in very nicely between 2. And in dual screen, it's pretty much as if you're working off 2 29-inch monitors. Of course, the resolution on the vertical is 1440. And the other thing I'd like to also say is one of the things that could be improved, and that is when you've got this already split system working, and anytime you pull it, it always wants to put it in full screen mode. So you can't really drag that up, anything to keep that within that sort of section. It always wants to go back to full screen. So this is something that could be maybe improved, that you don't have to have this always locking all the time. So that's something that I do used to use this one a lot, which is having a triple, which is actually really nice to actually have used. So I'm just going to bring this up to what I would normally bring it up as. I'll just bring up this sort of this one here. So you kind of do something you can use free, and it is a nice even split. Now, one of the things I like to see as an improvement, and besides the locking feature, now this is something that kind of bit annoyed me, is that you can't customize these zones.
So it'd be nice if we can customize zones. What I mean by that is if you can either bring in something like I as a device, is there's Microsoft have made something called Power Tools. And I'm just going to actually turn this one off so we can actually bring up Power Tools. This is downloaded through the Microsoft Store. Now in Power Tools, there is one called Fancy Zones. And basically it does the same thing of what we just saw with the split screen. But one good thing is you can actually launch the editor and you can customize your different type of zones. So I've customized something like this that I actually use quite a bit. So I can go back to custom zones. Now I'm going to make the different zones very different for whatever else. I'm just click on apply. I'm just going to close out of that. Now what that does is, and you'll see what also makes it very nice, is that even if this is not, it doesn't snap into those zones at all until I hold shift key, and then it'll bring up these zones and then you can actually lock them in. So I actually do this quite a bit, which is quite nice to actually run off. So I would actually bring this thing up on this side and then maybe have something running on that. So I'm working on a big document and I can have two things I can monitor while this is running. So something that's kind of nice to see for that there. So this is a really nice way to actually try and just have customized zones in the Acer. Now you can probably, as I said, you can install this Power Tools, but you do see that in Power Tools, you do get this bit of a border that's not used. So there's a little bit of wasted real estate state, whereas with the Acer one, I'm just going to close this thing off again and bring up the Acer one and the split screen. And I'm just going to bring it back to this one here. You'll see that it actually has a very nice, perfectly fit for each display, which is really nice. I do say that's good to see that it's actually using, but the one other thing is this monitor, and this is part of the workflow, is not great for consuming multimedia in the full screen mode. So we're gonna just bring this up. As you can see, I'm just gonna play this thing. And I'll just bring up down the volume. You can see that we've got a lot of black space in between the things. So you're not really using the full type of screen here. And will go the same thing for if you're just running, if you wanna watch YouTube. So I'll just bring up YouTube here. Same idea. So I'm just gonna bring this thing here. Double click on it, and again, you get the same sort of big wasted real estate. So one of the things I've found is, I'm just going to bring this thing out. If you bring probably into this mode here, where you have a split, but again, you can't customize this split, but this seems to be a little bit better in this dual screen. So I'm just going to bring that up, and that will come to here, and you can probably then bring into a working area here while you can do this. So again, if I go full screen here, it doesn't actually stay within that split fancy zone is what I call it. So you do have to compromise in that. So that's the default mode here. And this is something you just kind of look. So it'd be nice if we can customize this a little bit. Again, Power Tools was able to do that. So something I like to see that might be improved in the Acer display widget. One of the curious things I want to experience to see if there was any improvement on my workflow or experience through video editing, especially with this monitor having a vertical resolution of 1440, and then we've got a very ultra wide resolution, and if this was able to give me a little bit better experience and things. And I have to say, it does. The reason for that is because I'm able to put a lot of my tools in one big display. And not only that, I have, just like the 34-inch monitors, I have a very nice long place for my timeline. But especially just having the extra windows, I don't have to flick through the different types of Windows format to actually have all my extra tools that I wanted. So I liked having that, to the fact that I don't have to move things around in a 49-inch monitor. So this is definitely something I would recommend for a lot of video editors who actually have the money invest in a 49-inch monitor, because I think this is absolutely fantastic to have a long, wide monitor.
Love the fact that Acer have listened to the feedback from the previous monitor and have improved the performance as well as the resolution on this monitor, making my experience on this monitor quite a decent and good overall experience for it. So I definitely could recommend it looking at the price of this. It is subject to if it's available on your country, but if you can source one out, definitely I would put it in your shopping list. Now I hope you find this video informative or enjoyed it. Even support my channel, smash that like button for me. And if you haven't done already, subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscribe button on the screen. I do try to upload a new video every week. And if you want to support me further, I have membership by clicking that join button right next to the subscribe button. Try to do a little extra for those guys there. And as always, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I'll see you next video.